Following the defeat of Cell, peace returns to Earth. However, this peace did not come without a cost. Vegeta, one of Earth's mightiest heroes, was dead. He sacrificed himself to save his family and the world he loved so much. Now he trains diligently in otherworld so that he can gain the power to protect everyone dear to him. Unbeknownst to Vegeta, his power would be needed once more as a dark shadow looms over Earth. Can Vegeta and his family defeat this new threat? Find out now. A grudge match from the past. What if Goku and Vegeta went to Earth together? Part 10. Out in the depths of Otherworld, a single planet floated gently above the clouds. However, this serene scene was shattered with loud screams and explosions that rocketed the heavens.
Shut it, Kai! Can't you see I'm busy?
After 7 years of relentless training following his death, Vegeta's sole focus was becoming stronger to protect his family and home. Accepted as a pupil by King Kai, the Guardian Kai of the North Galaxy, Vegeta learned the Kaioken technique and pushed his Super Saiyan state to new heights. However, mastering King Kai's Spirit Bomb proved to be challenging due to the remnants of evil within Vegeta's heart. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Vegeta watched over his family from heaven with the help of King Kai. Bra, his daughter, grew up surrounded by loved ones, including the Briefs, Sun family, and even the reformed Pilaf gang. Bra and Goten were raised around each other and formed a close bond, while Gohan and Trunks trained alongside Kakarot and Piccolo to protect the Earth in Vegeta's absence. Trunks took his training even more seriously, and Gohan sometimes struggled to balance his studies and training. The two boys became superhero partners as the great Saiyaman 1 and 2, but soon had their identities discovered by a classmate named Videl. She blackmailed them into training her and participating in the upcoming Tenkaichi Budokai. Videl's crush on Gohan provided amusement for Trunks, leading to playful teasing and swift kicks from Videl. Despite their different paths and challenges, Vegeta's family and friends continued to grow, train, and adventure through Earth, eagerly awaiting for the day that Vegeta could return to them from his intense training and join them once more. It was during these training sessions that Videl encountered the rest of her new friends' company, including Goku and Piccolo. They had heard of Videl and the Tenkaichi Budokai from the boys. They remembered the good old days when they would attend those tournaments. Videl nearly had a heart attack when she saw the pair. Wasn't this the legendary martial artist Son Goku and the Demon King Piccolo? Trunks said that his dad was even more impressive. He was the one to win the 23rd World Tournament. Videl couldn't believe it. These two dorks were close to so many martial arts legends, although Videl wonders who between the three of them was the strongest. Probably me.
What? Don't make me laugh. I beat you once before, Kakarot, and I'll do it again.
I don't know, Piccolo. That was a long time ago. A lot has changed since then. Besides, I got Super Saiyan. You don't.
Well, you could call me a Super Namekian. I've been training too, and I'll mop the floor with you and Vegeta when he gets here.
Nuh-uh.
The hell do you mean, nah-uh?
I mean what I said. Why? You wanna prove me wrong?
That's it. I'm beating you down this instant. Once I'm done with you, Vegeta's next.
That's the spirit. This ought to be a good warm-up. Who knows? Maybe I'll go to Otherworld myself and challenge Vegeta.
Oh, shut up. That's it. I'm coming down there and I'm going to beat you both with my hands tied behind my back.
Huh? What is that? Vegeta? Dad? Everyone was shocked to hear the voice. Vegeta, who had been watching what was happening down on Earth, was furious to hear all this disrespect. In the spur of the moment, Vegeta decided to announce here and now that he would be returning to the living realm soon. He will be attending the World Tournament and prove to everyone that he is the strongest warrior around. While Videl was utterly flabbergasted, everyone else was excited. Trunks flew off, eager to tell his mother and sister as soon as possible. Goku and Piccolo trained even harder than ever before in preparation for this rematch, encouraging Videl and Gohan to do the same. Vegeta himself was thrilled to be returning home, but he never showed it. Yet, King Kai could tell. He asked his pupil if he really thought he was ready to return. Didn't he still have trouble with that new form? Vegeta stayed quiet for a bit, but replied with confidence that it didn't matter. He'd figure out how to master it sooner or later. Back on Earth, the news of Vegeta's return quickly spread to the rest of the Z Fighters. Everyone was delighted, especially Bulma. Bra was actually a little nervous. She didn't know how to feel now that she's finally going going to meet her dad, but her family reassured her that he would love nothing more than to see her. Goku and Piccolo were now convinced that they needed to join the tournament too. They had to fight Vegeta and show off the fruits of their training. It's a good way to celebrate. And thus, everyone's training continued until the very last minute. On the day of the 25th Tenkaichi Budokai, the Z Fighters gathered together at the tournament. Everyone was surprised to see Trunks and Gohan in their Great Saiyaman costumes, but this quickly went away once they saw a certain man with spiky hair approach them, a halo bobbing above his head. They couldn't believe it. Standing before them for the first time in 7 years was Vegeta. The Z Fighters celebrated with glee as Vegeta walked up to Bulma, immediately hugging her and ruffling Trunks' hair. He had missed them, and he's glad to see how much Trunks had grown, even if he was wearing a ridiculous costume. As Trunks tries to defend his fashion sense, Bulma smiles as she says that there's someone else that needs to meet him. Unlike Goten in the original story, Bra immediately steps up to the plate, taking steps towards her father and looking up at him with a mischievous smile. She was excited to see just how strong her dad was after all these years of hearing about it. No one was sure how Vegeta would react, but suddenly, the prince picked her up, lifting her up with a big smile. Glad to see his princess. Kakarot and Piccolo were shocked at the sudden display of affection and the smile, but Bra just giggled with glee. Her papa wasn't as mean as he looked after all, but she was sure he would kick everyone's butt. From behind, a hand was placed on Vegeta's back. As he turned around, he saw the face of Grandpa Gohan for the first time in so many years.
Welcome back, Vegeta. It's good to see you again.
Yes, it's good to see you too, son Gohan.
This moment was cut short as a cough was heard. Uranai Baba told Vegeta to be careful with his time limit. Trunks and Bulma were upset. He wasn't gonna stay. Vegeta laments that as much as he would like to, he still has some training to do in Otherworld. However, he believes that it wouldn't take much longer. He was at the verge of a breakthrough. He could feel it. Once he had crossed that wall, he would return for good. Bra was sad about this, but Vegeta told her that the heir to the Saiyan Empire shouldn't be upset at this, asking her if she would participate in the tournament. Bulma was going to answer no, but in a move that surprised everyone, Bra said that she would. Gohan and Trunks couldn't believe it. They thought she had no interest in fighting, but Kakarot and old Gohan encouraged her. Without further ado, the 25th World Tournament begins. The tournament kicks off with the Children's Division, and unsurprisingly, Goten and Bra sweep the competition as they make it to the final match. The cousins face each other, and, eager to show off to their parents, rush in to attack. However, in an unexpected turn of events, Bra is able to brush off Goten's attacks. Despite having little training, Bra was naturally gifted at fighting, just like her father was. Even if she didn't like to fight, her Saiyan instincts were extremely prominent, maybe even more so than Goten. Goten attempted to use Super Saiyan in order to breach the gap, but at that second, he lets his guard down. With a simple push from behind, Goten is knocked off the ring, and Bra is declared the winner. Vegeta's proud of his daughter, remembering the future version of her. He had no doubt she would be a strong warrior one day. Perhaps her strength wasn't there yet, but she was cunning, and that would get her a long way. It was a shame she didn't want to train. Goten was pretty upset and on the verge of tears, but Bra said that he was really strong too, and that maybe they can get stronger together. This doesn't completely console Goten, but he likes her spirit. After a small altercation with Mr. Satan, where Bra nearly kills him on accident, and he plays it off as if it was on purpose, the Z Fighters get ready for the adult division. With nothing else to prove, Goten and Bra sit with their mothers in the audience, and thus, no Mighty Mask is harmed. Yet. As the new division commences, the Z Fighters scanned the other contestants to scope out the competition. They saw a few small fries here and there, but there was two strange men in even stranger garb. However, their jaws drop at what they see next. 3 men approaching them. 2 of them were very buff, deranged-looking men in spandex, and standing between them was none other than someone with a familiar long hair. Raditz. It had been many years since they saw him. He had left with the remnants of the Frieza Force after the end of Cooler and Frieza's disastrous invasion of Earth. Perhaps he could come back and reconcile with Goku. However, Goku and the rest realized something was wrong with Raditz's energy. His aura was incredibly dark and malignant, unlike anything they had ever seen before. Not only that, he had a mysterious M symbol on his forehead. Goku and Vegeta confront Raditz about this, asking him why he's back on Earth with 2 new friends, but Raditz simply grins, saying sarcastically that he didn't come here to exchange any pleasantries. He was here to size them up, and he's disappointed at what he sees. He hopes they're hiding more of their real power, because if they aren't, he's going to beat them to death. It would be a shame if that happened, wouldn't it? He had a surprise for them after all, especially for the prince. Spopovich and Yamu stare maliciously at the heroes before Raditz orders them to leave. They had nothing else to see here. Goku was worried. They had left on good terms the last time they saw Raditz. He had even helped them fight against Cooler when he invaded Earth. What could have happened out there in space? But the tournament begins, and Krillin easily defeats Pintar. However, in the second match, Piccolo forfeits against a mysterious foe. Everyone was puzzled at this outcome, and when asked why, a single title is uttered: Supreme Kai. Vegeta perks up upon hearing this. He swears he's heard this title before. He could recall that this was someone who was very important in the hierarchy of the universe. But why did that matter to the prince? With a pompous attitude, Vegeta announces that he was well aware from his time in Otherworld that the Kais weren't that impressive. Of course, they probably came here to request help from strong mortals to get anything done. Shin raises an eyebrow, wondering if he should give King Kai a call sometime about his star pupil being so unpleasant. In a panic, Piccolo tried to defuse the situation and made sure that everyone respected the Kai and his attendant. Before Vidal's battle against Spopovich, Gohan and Trunks wish her luck as they think she'll wipe the floor with their foe. But the Z fighters instead watch in horror as she's beaten within an inch of her life. Raditz revels in this brutality, which further upsets the heroes and leaves both Goku and Vegeta incredibly concerned. What had happened to Raditz that caused this? Gohan and Trunks were absolutely livid. Despite their father's warnings, they burst into Super Saiyan and charge towards the ring. With their fists outstretched, the two land a devastating punch that twists Spopovich's head and neck. They pick up Videl and ask the tournament staff to take her away immediately. They didn't care about the tournament rules anymore. They couldn't stand back and watch their friend be tortured like this. However, Raditz laughs as he declares that this was the moment he was waiting for. He orders Spopovich and Yamu to strike. From behind, Spopovich and Yamu launch towards the powerful teens in an attempt to steal their energy. Trunks manages to dodge out of the way, but Gohan is unable to move. Spopovich grabs onto Gohan as Yamu sticks a device into the young fighter, draining him of energy. Trunks quickly kicks Spopovich out of the arena, so far into the sky that he simply becomes a blip in the horizon. But Raditz spins on his heel, blasting at Trunks and grabbing Yamu, getting out of there. Yamu asks about Spopovich, but Raditz says that he's surely dead after that. They needed to return to their master with his bountiful harvest. The Kaioshin steps forward as his attendant Kibito heals Gohan. He apologizes for that. It was imperative to let those villains take his energy so they could follow them. If they give that energy to their master Babidi, then they'll be one step closer to reviving an ancient evil named Majin Buu. Vegeta and Piccolo trusted Shin's words as they agreed to help. Although Vegeta made sure to warn Shin that if he tried to pull that paralyzing stunt on any of them ever again, he'd make him regret it. His position as the Kaioshin be damned. Goku, Krillin, Gohan, and a reluctant Trunks decide to accompany them as they bid their friends goodbye, promising to return as soon as possible. It doesn't take much time for the heroes to arrive at Babidi's spaceship. While there, they witness Babidi himself destroy Yamu and Spopovich after receiving their Kili device. They were useless to him now. It wasn't as if they were strong enough to qualify as soldiers anyways. Raditz, on the other hand, was a remarkable find and a worthy addition to Babidi's forces. The wizard congratulates Raditz for the job well done, as the Saiyan bows down in return. However, he smirks as he informs his lord that he has not only brought the Kili device, but several guests as well. The Z fighters jolt up upon hearing this. They've been spotted. Or had Raditz known they were there all along? Before they could disperse, Dabura appears overhead and spits on the heroes. Several of the Z fighters jump out of the way, but Piccolo and Krillin aren't so lucky. They are turned into stone as Kibito is blasted away. Vegeta and Goku are enraged, but Trunks and Gohan are absolutely livid. First, Videl. Now Krillin and Mr. Piccolo too? They wouldn't get away with this. Raditz chuckles as he encourages them to do something about it and follow him into the spaceship. His laugh fades away as the Majins disappear into the spaceship. Shin warns everyone that they must not waste any time fighting. The longer they battle, the more energy they will generate for Majin Buu. The Saiyans listen to this advice at first, making quick work of Pui Pui and Yakon similarly to the original story. However, once they arrive on the third floor, they encounter the Demon King Dabura. Still angered over what happened to Piccolo, Gohan requests to take on this devil alone, but Trunks disagrees. Piccolo was his master and friend too. The pair get into a mighty battle of rock, paper, scissors. Dabura was enraged by this disrespect, lunging forward in a strike. However, Gohan and Trunks yell out at Dabura to not interrupt as they uppercut him into the ceiling. It looks like they haven't any choice now. They would both fight. Snickering, Trunks proposes that whoever defeats this demon guy first can ask Videl out on a date, betting that he could beat Dabura first. That wouldn't happen, because he'd be the one to knock him out first. Shin can't believe they're doing this over a girl. This can't be a good idea. The battle is rather one-sided. Despite missing out on a lot of training recently, Gohan and Trunks are still incredibly powerful, thanks to their constant sparring with one another. Trunks himself never missed out on a day of training. He was in an entire league of his own. Yet, he couldn't help but be a showboat. Trunks decides to show off some more of his new superhero moves, creating a tornado from his hands and disorienting the demon in a move called Cyclone Hurricane Punch. Gohan thought it was cool, but he warns Trunks that he wasn't the only one with a surprise move up his sleeve. Eager to show off something he had been saving for the tournament, Gohan lunges at Dabura feet first as Dabura is struck in the chest and sent spiraling down into the stone below. Several Spit Loogies shoot out right towards Gohan. Vegeta yells at Gohan to dodge, but thankfully a large ki blast incinerates the spit. Trunks saves Gohan, who warns his cousin to pay attention. Gohan apologizes as the two warriors take a battle stance together. With a combined onslaught of attacks, Trunks and Gohan rush down Dabura without giving him a chance to breathe, finishing him off with a combined Masenko. Vegeta chuckles in amusement. There couldn't have been a better attack to finish off that so-called Demon King. With that, Piccolo and Krillin should be released from their stone prison. Shin is nervous that maybe they have released too much energy, but Goku reassures him that it should be fine. All that's left was Babidi, and before Goku could finish his sentence, a loud laugh echoes in the air. Suddenly appearing in the middle of the stage was Raditz. The Z fighters get on guard, with Goku demanding an explanation. Why was he doing this? He thought they were friends now. However, the evil invader simply grins with devilish glee.
Friends? That's ridiculous. It's been clear to me ever since I first met you and the prince that I could never have a place here. I'm always going to be a slave, no matter how hard I try to fight that fate.
Raditz explains what happened to him after he left Earth. He retreated alongside the remnants of the Frieza Force, attempting to rebuild whatever remained of the Empire. However, what he and no one else could have expected was the betrayal from their newest asset, Dr. Gero. Raditz was on board the Frieza Force mothership the day Gero rebelled. He saw the Doctor's abomination, Cell, break out from the research facility and slaughter every single living being on board. It was only through quick thinking and sheer luck that Raditz was able to escape with his life. With his master dead and the Empire in shambles, Raditz truly had nothing. No mission, no goals, no purpose. He wandered the universe as a nomad, merely going through the motions, not truly living, only surviving. Eventually, he began taking bounty hunter jobs from some former business partners of Frieza known as the Heaters. It was through this line of work and taking a particular mission on planet Zune that led him straight to Babidi. With a promise of unimaginable power, Raditz was reborn in a baptism of darkness. As Babidi's loyal Majin servant, Raditz would be able to have his revenge and defeat those putrid brothers, Vegeta and Kakarot. Vegeta scoffs. He doesn't believe that Raditz is worth his time. Shin tries to calm down Vegeta and prevent him from provoking their enemies any further, but it's too late. In a show of force, the deranged Saiyan unleashed a shout that shakes the entire spaceship as his wild hair bursts in an electrifying golden glow. Raditz points to Vegeta, demanding that he be his first victim, as the prince chuckles. He'd be more than happy to humor his little fragile ego. Shin can only stutter in disbelief, but a hand is placed on his shoulder. It was Goku, smiling as he reassured the god that Vegeta would end this battle in no time. Raditz requests his master to change the scenery to something more fitting. Raditz snaps his fingers as the entire room appeared to be the smoldering ruins of West City. Trunks and Gohan's eyes widened in panic, but Shin told them to relax. This wasn't their city, not really. It was an illusion created by the foul Babidi. As Vegeta looks around curiously, he wonders aloud why this place was chosen. Raditz responds angrily that this is the perfect setting for their battleground. This is where they fought many years ago. In his mind, there could be no other place more fitting for the rematch. His feral hair danced in the wind as the
Manic Berserker lunged at Vegeta. The prince chose to remain in his base state in an effort to push himself, expertly dodging and parrying the beast's attacks with grace. Goku whistled in delight. His brother sure was something. That stance looked a little familiar, reminding him of something Grandpa Gohan had shown him long ago. Trunks and Gohan cheered for Vegeta to keep up good moves, but this ended up distracting the prince. Raditz takes advantage of the moment and uppercuts Vegeta, spinning upwards before unleashing a devastating dropkick straight into the hero's chest. Vegeta is sent crashing through several smoking skyscrapers as Raditz shouts at him to take this battle seriously. He knows he's holding back. A massive pillar of dazzling light breaks through the plumes of dust and ash, revealing an annoyed Vegeta with golden hair and sparkling aura. He wipes some blood off his lip as the prince promises his foe that playtime is over. Raditz grins in manic delight as he stretches out his hands, beseeching Vegeta to come forth. Vegeta rockets towards Raditz, their fists clashing as the sonic boom echoes through, shattering glass off of nearby buildings. Shin gulped, unsure if it was Vegeta or Raditz that looked more terrifying. The Saiyan's power was horrific, yet spectacular, nearly decimating the room around them as their volley of ki blast razed the towers nearby to the ground. Shin yelled at Vegeta to stop the madness. They were only empowering Majin Buu. If he valued this world and life as he knows it, they need to end this battle now. From behind, Goku steps up as he looks sternly at his brother. He's right, you know. Vegeta, stop messing around. You don't want Bulma and your kids to get hurt because of that Majin Buu guy, right? Fine. But I'm only ending this because I decided to, not because of you, Kakarot. The prince declares to Raditz that, while his strength was impressive, his form was still too sloppy, and beyond that, this was a power he didn't even reach himself. This battle was a nice warm-up, but it wouldn't be able to satisfy him. Infuriated beyond belief, veins pop across his forehead as Raditz charges his ki to the max. He demands that the prince take on this, his greatest move.
Double Sunday!
You call that a proper name for a final attack? I'll show you, fool. I'll end this.
Final Flash!
The two beams clash as the entire room starts to collapse. The illusionary space distorts as Babidi's magic can no longer remain in the face of such overwhelming power. Goku, Shin, and the boys pull up their hands in an attempt to shield themselves as the resulting explosion pushes everyone back. The heroes soon open their eyes in disbelief. There was no city, no spaceship. It was completely destroyed. All that remained was the floor beneath them, alongside the bloodied body of Raditz, with a smug, victorious Vegeta. Raditz can only stare at the dirt beneath him, grasping his hair in disbelief. Despite sacrificing everything, how was he still weaker than Vegeta? Goku approached the broken man, asking why he gave up his soul. No. Why did he surrender his pride to Babidi? If there's anything he's learned from this life, it's that pride is still the last thing a Saiyan ever gives up. Raditz looks up, tears flowing down his cheeks as he laments in frustration. It's because he took everything from me. I was a low-class Saiyan destined to live an existence of hardship and despair, while Vegeta got a life of luxury. Frieza may have controlled my life, but Vegeta stole it. I was a punching bag for decades. I worked so hard to survive, and all this time, that bastard got to live on this peaceful planet with a family, with a life, with a wife, and children, with my brother. I was your brother, Kakarot, not him. Why? Why did I have to suffer my whole life while he didn't? Why did he have a chance to have a family that loves him when I couldn't? Vegeta stays quiet, remembering back to the fateful day he was sent off from planet Vegeta. That's right. Kakarot's mother had begged his father to let Raditz come with them, but the king ignored her. No matter how much she cried and begged, if the king had shown just a bit more mercy, Raditz may have had a completely different life. As Vegeta recalled Guinea's tearful pleas, they echoed in his mind, as Raditz's cries intertwined with hers, until Vegeta snapped, dashing forward with his boot, kicking Raditz square in the face. Shut up already, will ya? Whoa, Vegeta, chill out! He wasn't fighting anymore, don't you think that's a bit much? It's his fault for spilling his guts like that. Besides, we don't have any time to sit around and continue listening to his sob story. We still need to find Babidi and this Majin Buu. Sure enough, with blood gushing from his nose, Raditz was sent rolling back into the dirt and passing out. With no more minions left, all that was left was Babidi. The wizard, still hiding in the deepest floors of the destroyed ship, was panicking. All of his fighters were gone, and he was only moments away from being discovered. Majin Buu's egg was on the verge of awakening. couldn't end now when he was so close to reviving his destiny. In a final attempt to change his fate, Babidi peered into the minds of the Z-Fighters and attempted to exploit that darkness in their hearts. If he had just one more servant, one more vessel to stall for more battle, he could gather enough to revive Buu. Unfortunately for the villain, his attempts to mind control proved to be futile. Goku and his son's hearts were pure. Trunks had some small vestiges of darkness within him, as any normal person would, but it wasn't enough. Finally, Vegeta, the only proper candidate with ample darkness in his soul, was far too powerful in mind, body, and spirit. Despite his best efforts, Babidi could not break through Vegeta's indomitable spirit. As Babidi struggled with upending Vegeta's mind, the roof above him broke apart. He gasped in disbelief as the Z-Fighters appeared before him. Vegeta scoffed. It looks like this potato was trying to whisper lies into his mind. Shin thanks everyone for their hard work. They seem to have arrived just in time. Babidi shrieks, saying to stay away as Vegeta holds up his palm, shouting out a mighty Big Bang attack. A shrill cry is heard, followed by an immense explosion. When the dust settles, nothing remains of Babidi nor the egg. Goku, Gohan, and Trunks rush in to hug Vegeta in jubilation, but the prince merely shouts at them to get off. The moment is quickly cut short, however, as the body of Raditz drops and lands on the floor with a loud thud. The Z-Fighters look up to see Krillin and Piccolo float down as Gohan and Trunks scream out their names, happy to see them again in one piece. Krillin laughs. He's just glad he didn't get marked with any pot shots by nearby birds. Shin laments the passing of Kibito, but Piccolo chimes in, remarking that they wouldn't have to wait long. This world has Dragon Balls. They could easily gather them and bring his assistant back to life. Shin sighs in disbelief. Beneath them, something stirs that catches everyone's attention. It was Raditz, groaning in pain. He was still alive. Trunks asks what they should do with him. Shin mentions that the M on his forehead is gone. This meant that Babidi's spell was broken, theorizing that it must have happened after his death. However, he wasn't sure what to say about Raditz's fate. For a moment, an eerie silence fell in the air. Then Vegeta spoke up. Surprisingly, he believes that they should spare him. There's no need to kill him now. He was manipulated by Babidi because of the loneliness and bitterness in his heart. It was because of his father's actions that set Raditz on a lonesome path of pain and misery. Vegeta couldn't help but feel partially responsible for his fate. Perhaps this could be the chance Raditz needs to pick up the broken pieces of his life and make something new of it. Goku snickers. He never took his brother to be such a softie, but Vegeta yells at him to shut up. Shin smiles in delight, thanking them for their assistance, despite the few road bumps. Vegeta tells Shin to think nothing of it. Now, there was nothing stopping him from having a rematch with Kakarot at the World Tournament. The Saiyans looked at each other in shock. They had completely forgotten about the tournament. If they were quick, they might be able to make it back in time before the final match. Shin offers to bring everyone back in an instant, requesting them to link hands. He could teleport them in the blink of an eye. Vegeta looks down at Raditz, picking him up and throwing him over his shoulder. Goku smiles as everyone locks hands, and as Shin promised, they were all teleported away to the World Tournament. Bulma, Chi-Chi, and the rest of their friends and family were shocked to see the Z-Fighters suddenly appear before them. As Gohan and Trunks reunite with Videl, and Piccolo explained what happened to the rest, Goku couldn't help but be impressed with Shin's technique. Teleporting was so neat. Maybe he could learn it someday. Shin remarks that he wouldn't mind training any of them in the ways of the Supreme Kai. It was the least he could do after what they did for him. Krillin asks everyone what they missed, as Yamcha laughs, pointing over to the arena and mentioning that he should go ask his wife. Sure enough, 18 was in the middle of the ring, and underneath her were the beaten and bruised figures of the tournament contestants. As it turned out, the tournament had turned into a battle royale after everyone left, with the last warrior standing being Mr. Satan. Of course, 18 was far stronger than any of them, so it was no surprise that she would win. Goten mentions that the adult fights were really boring. Was that really it? This gives Goku an idea. He walks to the tournament announcer, who is glad to see him return. Goku puts his hands together as he makes a request. Could he fight Vegeta here on the tournament ring? The announcer isn't sure at first. They did drop out after all. However, Goku responds that he isn't interested in any prize money. He just wants to fight his brother. The announcer smiles widely. A battle between two of the strongest martial artists in the world? That would be absolutely what the show needs. After a quick discussion with the rest of the staff, the tournament announcer makes his decree.
Alright,
Alright folks, we have breaking news. Before we show you the exciting finale, it has been decided that we whet your appetite with something special. Think of this as an exhibition match to show off the kind of fantastic feats of power you should expect to see from world champion class martial artists such as Mr. Satan. That's right, here before us in this stage is none other than Son Vegeta, the Prince of Power himself, the champion of the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, and right by his side is his younger brother and alumni of the World Tournament, Son Goku. These two masters of combat who have changed the world of martial arts. We ask that you stay seated for this once-in-a-lifetime event. Before you now is the Battle of the Ages. Son Vegeta versus Son Goku. Heh, I'm starting to get pretty excited. Are you ready, Vegeta? You better not hold out on me like you did before with Raditz. I wouldn't dream of such a thing. Bring it on, Kakarot. The crowd roars and applauses as Goku and Vegeta get into their battle stance. The Son families cheer and shout in glee as Gohan and Trunks encourage their fathers to win. Raditz wakes up from all the applauses, wondering what the hell is going on. Why wasn't he dead? What happened to Babidi? From behind, Piccolo tells Raditz to be quiet and watch. The announcer wasn't lying. This was going to be a match for the ages. He encourages Raditz to keep his eyes on the tournament arena and never forget it. With silent anticipation, he watches on. Goku and Vegeta's battle was a true sight to behold. They utilized every technique and stance they could think of, expertly dodging, parrying, and striking each other with grace. Even to the average onlooker, it was clear that these men were fighting at the peak of martial arts. They were real masters. The entire audience was mesmerized by their precise and bombastic movements. They couldn't wait to see what Mr. Satan could do. However, this was only Goku and Vegeta at their weakest. They were pacing themselves, building up to the next level. Once they got serious, they burst into Super Saiyan 2 in an explosive display. Some people started to leave the stands out of fear for their lives, but most in the audience didn't care. They wanted to watch till the very end. It seemed now as if the two fighters were equal in both skill and strength, yet something was off. Goku could feel it. He asked Vegeta to keep his promise and stop holding back. Vegeta chuckled. He couldn't hide anything from him. He warns his rival that he spent the last few years in Otherworld perfecting this power. If he thinks he's up for the challenge, then Vegeta is more than happy to oblige. Vegeta screams at the top of his lungs as the entire planet shakes. Everyone in the planet capable of sensing ki is unable to process what they're feeling. Vegeta's hair begins to stretch out, his aura brimming with power. Raditz and Goku's eyes widen as they bear witness to the magnificent awakening occurring before them. Vegeta smirks, proclaiming that this was the fruit of his training in Otherworld. This was a form beyond the ascended Super Saiyan. He called it Super Saiyan 3. Goku compliments Vegeta. He knew he could count on his big brother to pull something crazy out. He's a little scared, but he can't help but be excited. Goku charges his ki to the max and shouts at Vegeta to bring it on. The brothers clash again, lost in the moments as they unleash an all-out brawl. Raditz can't help but be mesmerized by the fight. Was this kind of power possible because of this planet? Bra cheers on both her father and her uncle as it seems the fight is about to reach its apex. Goku was ready to unleash a secret special move, one he promised he'd been working on for years with Piccolo, to specifically defeat Vegeta. However, before he could even start to prepare, a shrill cackle is heard across the tournament arena. Goku, Vegeta, and the rest of the Z fighters look around in surprise as Shin feels a chill go down his spine. It wasn't possible. There was no way. This voice, it couldn't be. From the middle of the stage, a blip is heard. Shin's worst fears are confirmed. Appearing before them was the vile wizard Babidi and the steaming egg of Majin Buu. It was steaming profusely, radiating so much heat that the egg had turned from pink to a blazing hot red. While Shin yells out in panic, demanding to know how Babidi's alive, the malevolent warlock shakes his finger, taunting the heroes for brushing him off and not checking if he was truly disposed of. Babidi reveals that moments before Vegeta's attack reached him, he created a last-ditch illusion to fake his death. He then teleported both himself and Buu's egg away from danger. He stayed hidden, erasing all traces of his magic and his presence, waiting for an opportunity to gather the last remaining bits of Kili from Buu. His patience paid off handsomely. The obscene amount of energy generated from the tournament match was just what he needed. With all this delicious Kili, it'd be more than enough to revive Majin Buu. No. It would supercharge Buu to the level even he wasn't aware of. Vegeta and Goku head down to the arena, preparing to launch a double Gallic gun to destroy the egg. but it was too late. An enormous pillar of smoke pops out of the egg, resembling a volcanic eruption that pushes back Goku, Vegeta, and the remnants of the tournament audience. From out of the smoke emerges a figure with power that sends chills down everyone's spine. Shin falls to his knees in absolute despair. They had failed. Majin Buu had returned. This was the end of the universe. Thank you guys for watching this brand new Dragon Ball What If story. I gotta give a huge thank you to Professor Jim for helping me with this one. I know you guys have been waiting for this one for a while, so I asked him to help me out. It's been fun, and part 11 will be coming soon. After that, we'll take a break as we release a Season 1 covering Dragon Ball and Z for this story, while we write out all of Dragon Ball Super in order to get them out faster. But just you wait. On Sunday, a brand new Dragon Ball What If will start. What if Goku was raised in Yardrat? I'm really excited for that one. As always, a huge thank you to the patrons of the channel: Evan Webb Stewart, Dennis Brockman, Lost Saiyan 997, Orange Crimsicle, Sunbloom the Flowergen, Chris Macareno, Yo Mama 420, Mao Lick, Daddy, Super Samurai, Beastie Man 420, Faisal Alsharef, Akko, Giovanni Jimenez, Xanos, D-Man for Life, Marlon Gonzalez, Blaze 9526, Craze PlayStation CK, The Main Finn, Free Flow Highway, Speedster 352, Shane K, True Lightning Striker, Ghost 1571, Kaiser Jirachi, Trent Rules, D-Man Plays 22, Jim G, Jerome Foster, Salil Paranjape, Keith Grimes, Dreadpool, and Samuel Randall. Thank you guys so much for enjoying the video. Let's try to get this one to 3,000 likes, and until we meet again, see ya!